You don't know me, and I don't know you.
Just weeks before the election, Meg Whitman's former housekeeper, who happens to be an illegal immigrant, makes stunning allegations of mistreatment. What will it mean for Whitman's campaign?
Barbara Boxer is engaging in this kind of misrepresentation to change the subject.
So what is the subject? Carly Fiorina and Barbara Boxer might have been on opposite sides of the country, but today's Senate debate got up close and personal. And Viva Viagra, for many men, is a magic pill, but it might even be more magical than we think. Could Viagra help treat cancer? All the stories people are talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again, off the top of Filter 4, front our top 4 of the day, including, you want to get a cotton candy? Or do you want to run from the man with the gun? But we'll begin with this. It's the story of Nicandra Diaz. Nicandra worked as a housekeeper for Meg Whitman for nearly 9 years. Whitman says Diaz had falsified the hiring documents and personal information she provided to the employment agency. Diaz confessed this in 2009. Whitman said she had no choice but to let her go because she was actually an illegal worker. As for Diaz, she's retained Gloria Allred, her position. Whitman knew all along that she was illegal and now has been discarded like a piece of garbage.
She said, I cannot help you. And don't say anything to my children. I will tell them you already have a new job and that you want to go to school. And from now on, you don't know me, and I don't know you.
Our contributors tonight, civil rights attorney and radio talk show host Leo Terrell, and from redcounty.com, Matt Cunningham. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Leo, there are 2 questions. First, do you think Whitman knew Diaz was illegal? Second, will it make a difference in the upcoming election?
Jerry Brown should be sending flowers and candy to Gloria Allred. This is going to destroy Meg Whitman's campaign. It's going to alienate her base, the conservative right, because she claimed to be tough on illegal immigration, yet she allegedly employed one. Secondly, she needs the Hispanic vote. Her termination of this employee, Fred, is devastating. The Hispanic vote is the swing vote for this upcoming gubernatorial election. Meg Whitman has lost all chances of trying to capture the majority of the Hispanic vote for this upcoming election.
So basically, though, you're suggesting that she just hit the red button in the middle of her hand and detonated herself.
Oh, she's destroyed herself, Fred. In the primary, you can recall, she was very tough on illegal immigration. She had Pete Wilson to campaign for. Once she won the primary, she tried to move to the middle and try to downplay her tough stance. This disclosure of this illegal alien is devastating 3 or 4 weeks before the election, because those who will make up their minds right before the election will look at this as an adverse decision on the part of Meg Whitman.
You think Leo's a little over the top here, Matt, or does he have a good point?
Just a little over the top. This, the key for Meg Whitman in this is that, one, if there are any details left undivulged, she needs to divulge them now and move on and not talk about it anymore. She needs to not repeat the mistake that Mike Huffington made in 1994 and keeping a story alive that only benefits the opponent. Just keep making it on her news. She'll get hit and beat up for a few days in the media, and then it will move on. Because as of now, there's no proof she knew that Nikki was an illegal alien, and she did. And once she found out, if her story is correct, and I'm fairly confident it is, that she terminated her employment. I wish the smart thing to have done would have been to get that out in the news in June 2009.
Right. Well,
one last point, Fred.
Go ahead.
She can't control the story. Gloria Allred is controlling the story because Gloria is controlling the litigation.
Well, if that were true, then Arnold Schwarzenegger wouldn't be governor today.
There you go, Leo. All right, let's move on. When the city of Los Angeles decided to install red light cameras, the objective was safety. Officials are quick to point out here the objective was not to make money. That's a good thing, because the city's actually losing money. They've decided to install more cameras. Controller Randy Gruel released an audit today. Here's what we learned. It costs more than $1 million to operate the cameras. Fines and fees bring in $500,000, so you're $500,000 in the hole. We also learned that some 45% of red light tickets are unpaid, and we learned that the cameras are not placed in the city's most dangerous intersections. In Orange County, outgoing Mayor Kurt Pringle is giving voters a chance to permanently ban red light cameras. saying he doesn't think the city should make money that way. Should L.A. continue with red light cameras, Matt?
Well, let's see. They don't make motorists safer. They lose money, and they're not doing their job. I think it's pretty much a no-brainer to get rid of them. LA has enough problems without having to fund a money-losing. Only LA could lose money on red light cameras. I think it should be a no-brainer to get rid of them. And I think Kurt Pringle in my neighboring city here of Anaheim is on the right track. There's just all cities are in a cash crunch. But there are some things they shouldn't do to make money off the citizens. And these are not – red light cameras are revenue devices, are intended to be, not primarily safety devices. And if LA cannot get it right on either count, they ought to junk this program.
Leo, what do you think? Do you think the city's just trying to make money? And if so, should they get rid of those cameras?
Well, Fred, I agree with Matt. They should get rid of them. But the real story is, Fred, is who has contracted these cameras out? Who has the contract? You trace the vendor who runs these cameras, and I guarantee you'll see a large campaign contribution. This is a city contract given to a private company, and I guarantee you that private company has a vested interest in this because they have given campaign donations to the city council and possibly to the mayor's office.
Yeah, the thing that's so mind-boggling here, and we talked about it before, and now Wendy Gruhl comes out today, we know they've lost money on the cameras. We know that. So they're going to invest another $300,000 in more cameras.
Well, the government.
Find out the name of the company and then also look at their campaign contributions, and I'll guarantee you that's the reason why they don't have any problem losing money.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. If you're on a motorcycle, turn down the sound. The governor signed the bill requiring motorcycles to display a label showing they meet noise limits. What does that mean? Here's what it means. You can't tamper with the vehicle's emissions equipment to increase noise. And I'm sure many riders would say, you know what, that's part of the fun. First-time offenders would be fined $50 to $100. The law applies to motorcycle systems manufactured after January 1st, 2013. So, should riders be allowed to make them as loud as they want, or do you like this law, Leo?
I can't hear you. Oh, noise. Yes, it's called noise pollution. It's called disturbing the peace. This makes perfect sense. It's consistent with the federal law. Motorcyclists cannot make as much noise as they want. It's totally ridiculous. No one should be opposed to this.
Well, you know, an argument could be by the riders, yeah, but, you know, if you're driving in your car and you hear a loud noise coming up, at least you know we're there and you're not going to hit us.
Yeah, but there's no regulation, and this is what it brings in, a regulation. And I'm sure safety is a factor, but definitely noise is too much, and this is why the law should be enacted.
Matt, you can understand that motorcycle riders and enthusiasts absolutely hate this. Can you appreciate that?
I appreciate it. I have a neighbor who lives 2 doors down from me. My garage is back in an alley, and he has friends who ride Harleys. They like to ride through the alley. And it's loud, but I'm not going to support a regulation to cut down on. I mean, it's a state regulation. This should be a local matter. Cities have noise ordinances. Let cities enforce their noise ordinances. I think our state and federal governments have more than enough problems on their hands without having to try to fix the problem of noisy motorcycles.
Yeah, but
you want uniformity. You want uniformity up and down the state.
I don't want uniformity. I want the government to focus on what it's supposed to be doing instead of swatting flies. And this is another example of that. I mean, just focus on balancing the budget and growing the economy. We can deal once we've achieved nirvana in those regards. Maybe then we can focus on noisy motorcycles. But let's kind of get our problems in some kind of priority totem pole that makes sense.
You know, Leo, he's suggesting that this is just a softball for our state government to hit out of the park, and people will go, yeah, that's great. Okay, you took care of the noise matter. Matt's suggesting you're just avoiding.
Well, you know, the budget's an important item, but, Fred, the state has an obligation to public safety. This is a safety issue, and it's also one of the responsibilities of the state. So I think the state is correct in enacting this law.
All right. Now, if you want to talk about safety issues, what do you think about this? If you attend the hometown fair in Manhattan Beach this week and you suddenly see a bunch of people near you carrying guns, what are you going to do? Run? Freeze with panic? Or keep on enjoying the rides and the cotton candy? South Bay group that advocates carrying guns in public will wear unloaded weapons to this weekend's event. Harley Green has been on the program here before, that his members want to promote their constitutional right to carry guns. In the state of California, that's legal, with one exception. If you're 1,000 feet from a school, you can't do it. And parts of the fairgrounds are within 1,000 feet of American Martyrs Church, which includes a school. Green says that doesn't matter. His group's going to be there, and they're going to have their guns. Matt, what would you do if you looked up and you saw a bunch of people carrying guns?
I think I'd be alarmed. It might be my first reaction. I'm a very strong supporter of Second Amendment rights, and I support open carry laws. At the same time, I have a hard time getting enthusiastic about the movement. I'm not quite sure what they're trying to promote, other than they have the legal right to do what they're doing. But if the law prohibits them from carrying within 1,000 yards of a school, 1,000 feet of a school, they ought to observe the law, especially when the point of the exercise is to demonstrate and support their legal right to do what they're doing. They ought to observe the law while they're doing it. But at the end of the day, these are not dangerous nuts. I mean, they're experts in their firearms. They know how to use them. These aren't the kind of people who are committing gun crimes or breaking laws or even part of the problem. It's kind of esoteric, and it'll probably freak people out a little bit. So I'm not sure from a public relations standpoint if it helps or hurts the cause of supporting the Second Amendment.
Well, Leo, here's the thing. Matt says, they're not a bunch of nuts. They're responsible, and they're carrying unloaded guns nonetheless. If you're walking around and you see people walking up to you with guns, you don't know if they're a nut or not. You don't know what they're going to do.
Oh, exactly. And what about the situation where one of these guys carrying the gun get upset? They get angry. They get into an argument. They're going to reach for that gun. They're going to have that gun at their disposal when, under this current law, they have the right to. There's tremendous potential for danger. And if I had a family, if I had kids, and if I was near someone with a gun, he wasn't wearing a badge, he didn't have a uniform on, I would be very, very worried. Second Amendment, I support it. But there's a safety factor here, Fred, and those people walking there with guns are trying to prove a point. Somebody might get hurt.
Well, but on the other hand, if they're carrying those guns, they would probably do very well at the bullseye game at the carnival.
There's no evidence that they're going to get angry and reach for a gun. That's just inflammatory rhetoric. These are not the kind of people who run into schools and shoot people up. It's just no empirical data to back up that kind of accusation. None.
With all due respect, you have road rage in this state where people are driving, someone cuts them off, and they'll use their car as a weapon. So why are you telling me that people won't use a gun as a weapon?
Because they're not the type who are they're not gun activists. They're not the type who go out and demonstrate their right to open carry.
You have personal knowledge of everyone out there.
Can you give me any example where these kind of people are out there committing crimes, Leo? Before you make the accusation, can you give me some evidence before you paint them with that broad brush?
No, let me give you this key here.
No. You're saying somebody has a gun, they're a nut. And I'm just asking you to back that up.
There are going to be people there using this demonstration as an excuse. I am backing it up.
You are not. You're just saying people have road rage and they shoot guns, which was an issue, 15 years ago?
You're absolutely wrong. People would be out there using them as a cover to create problems, sir. It always happens.
Where? I mean,
where?
I mean, it's easy to make the talk, Leo, but back it up.
I am backing it up.
All right. Well,
every day, road rage.
All right. You know we've. All right. Okay. You know what we've learned, and we're out of time. We're out of time. Here's the thing we've learned. Matt, you feel very strongly, and Leo, after this conversation, we know you're not going to the fair. Not this weekend.
And don't give him a gun because he's very upset.
All right.
I'm afraid.
I understand.
And no cyclists.
Okay. Guys, have a good week. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.